Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Environmental Services Committee meeting for Tuesday, January the 14th, 2025. I'm the new chair for 2025. I'll call the meeting to order. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest?
None known.
None known either here. We'll review the prior meeting minutes and see if there's any questions. The only question, did you have questions, Marion?
No, I don't.
Okay, the only question I had is with this BM Ross capacity study, and when do we lose it? Is that the proper
A
term?
year ago.
So I emailed Andrew, we were playing phone tag yesterday, with each other. I asked him. We were supposed to have it before December 31st. We didn't receive it. I asked him, like, where are we? Can we get an update as to why we didn't get it? He wanted to talk to me in person about it, but he's saying there's still some discrepancies on the Venetian area with the storm, just the storm. He told me they were hoping to have it by the end of February. Yeah, I believe. Somebody double check before I.
So can we, if that's the case, if he's got everything done for water and sanitary, which is what we're really more concerned about,
Give us what you
can you give us that now?
Sorry, they're saying early February is their current target.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ask them. Like I said, we played phone tag yesterday, so I can ask them if we can at least get all the sanitary and all the other portions of it. And I did email them back and I asked them, can you please be specific on what are the issues that are holding us up? And that's when you say it'd be easier to talk in person and we just couldn't get a hold of each other yesterday.
Mhm.
So, but they're talking, he's now telling me February, and I did explain to him over a year late. So, the village and the developers want to need that information to, move forward. So,
So should we be escalating this to whoever Andrew's boss is, or should we wait till we get it and then tell BM Ross how unhappy we are?
I was just kind of thinking the same thing. There's, as I've said a couple of times, the planner from BM Ross is fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that he works with now. I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is, but I could reach out to him and voice our concern.
I think we need to. I think it's the old squeaky wheel gets the
Mhm.
attention, and I know we're trying to keep it amicable, and because we want the report, but at the same time, it's the worst part is the making promises and not delivering, right? Because he puts you on the hook because you tell us all it's going to be end of December, and then we all get ready, and then
you can get it.
yeah, and then it goes to our credibility as much as BM Ross's overall.
I believe some of the hangup is with the hotel properties. And we tried to get, we worked with the county as well to try to get them the site plans and all that information. They had the contacts. As far as I was under the understanding that what they needed, they got from the county, or what the county could give them, they gave them as much as they could. They haven't asked for more, so because I haven't been asking for it, assuming they've got everything the county has.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the county doesn't have it, then we don't have it because the county houses that stuff for us. But if they don't have it, we need to figure out what they need to get it completed.
Okay. Okay, and so that's all then.
Just to add too, like I know
Yep.
Jim said about the planner, when it did come for the water financial plan,
Mhm.
who I dealt with, Andrew, they were saying that it was great with that.
Yeah.
It just seems to be the records and the document, what they need off the Venetian Boulevard. They seem to be hung up with getting that information and. Past record keepings from way back when, and it's the same everywhere, aren't that great? So, but we definitely need to get it and get it done.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the minutes were already approved at a previous council meeting, so there's no action here. Next one will be the health and safety inspection, and it's just a lot of the same old things that we're fully aware of regarding the building. Nothing else that,
I didn't see anything new.
no. So we'll receive and file that. Under new business, we have Jay's report for January.
So updates from previous months, we are still working with contractors on the digester project. Trying to get some numbers and options put together. There's not a lot of information to give. I've spoke to MIG. They've had minimal conversations back with Matt and Jim and myself have been dealing with other options with it. Trying to come up with some solutions, so we're still basically on hold until we can get some information. And basically, from my understanding, MIG, Matten's reached out to MIG looking for them to give solutions. They aren't providing the solutions. It's not part of they're part of the contract. From what they're saying, it's up to Matten to come up with these solutions. So we are looking at different options and different routes that we can go here to try to get this done, taken care of, because it's definitely been around for far too many years.
So what's the impact on operations with this project being outstanding and not completed?
We have increased sludge haulage costs. So over all these years, we've been paying, we've lost basically 50% of our storage capacity with the tank being empty. Therefore, we have to haul more of it away.
Okay.
So if you look at the budget, the past budgets for a number of years, you can see that cost has gone up. Every year they have an increase in their rate, so the cost is more every year. We don't know at this point now, we don't know if they can fix the actual existing one the way they tried to. So we are looking at potentially putting new lids on. Back in 2018, they were significantly cheaper than they are going to be.
Yeah.
You know, if that's the solution in 25 or 26, there's going to be a cost difference there. Plus we haven't started the second, haven't even touched the second unit. So I'm not sure how that would play out with the contract either. Everything's going to be fine.
So is the first unit being bypassed right now?
Yeah.
And so if we lost the second unit, what are our options?
We'd have to haul all the sludge offsite. It would be a significant cost for the build. We would have to deal with the ministry because right now we still are digesting sludge. We still have a unit that's doing its job. If both were to go down, we would have to notify the ministry that we eliminated that whole process. I don't believe they would have issue with, like, obviously they want us to get it fixed. But
Yeah.
there's nothing we can do about that if it did happen. They possibly could put an order on the billets within this period of time, the solution.
So we're exposed to some risk.
There are some risks.
Okay.
Most of it, I would say, would be the financial burden of having to haul all the sludge offsite.
And when they're both working, you're saying there's less sludge to haul away because it digests it and it naturally goes away?
It runs, so it's set up as a primary and a secondary.
Yeah.
So it breaks down in the primary, goes over the second, breaks down more, and then we waste into the sludge holding tank.
Right?
Right now, we're basically running it as a primary, where you don't get that extra digestion.
Oh, okay.
Second, so
Which
it's-
creates more sludge to haul. Okay. Okay, sorry, carry on.
Work management, so we have 3 full-time employees. We do have a full-time employee on leave. So the MES and the CO, we've been discussing and working on, some possible options for staffing to make up for the position that's on leave right now. Training, all of their staff continue to achieve the required training hours to maintain their licenses and certifications. It will be more difficult to ensure the staff get that training. It's over a 3-year period, so we try to keep it fairly even over 3 years. But because we are potentially down a person, there's just less option or less chances for those people to get out. So it could potentially affect next year. We might see a decrease in training costs this year, a decrease next year. And we're also going to see more people needing to get away to do that training next year. So it's going to present a little bit of staffing thing next year. And the health and safety training, excuse me, it's being completed as per the matrix through the health and safety coordinator. Certifications, all of the staff have their certifications that are required to operate under the regulations, and we do have staff that are continuing to try to improve and increase their level of certification. Treatment plant, all of the maintenance is being completed and tracked through our mesh work order system. We did renew the contract with Mesh or GoEvo for 2025. That's between us and Public Works. Rural facilities continue to have all the routine maintenance and general housekeeping done on a regular weekly basis. The admin building, these are the health and safety issues that have been discussed and are ongoing. The new admin building, I did speak to MIG yesterday. The tenders are due Friday. They're allowing the bidders to review their numbers for their subcontractors. They have till Monday to provide the village or provide MIG with any corrections. And then sometime early next week, we should be able to get together and see those. I'm not sure if Jim, if you'll schedule, if it's just gonna be management or whether you want to do it all at once with council, or how do you want to?
We'll go through the proposals together with MIG first, you and I, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. That's what I kind
It'll
of,
need to be approval from council.
yeah, I told them that's probably how we would do it, but just to clarify. If we had to set up a meeting with everybody for the beginning of the week, I wanted to make sure we had time to do that.
Isn't that an odd way to do it? Like, if Friday's the due date, you would have done your checks before Friday.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that before.
So the way they explained it to me, the issue that they're all having is a lot of the subcontractors were providing their quotes for, like, say, electrical and stuff.
Right.
They didn't get them. They haven't actually, some of them don't even have them yet. They won't get them until Thursday, Friday. So what they want to do is be able to review what their subcontractor submitted to them. So some of them, being they're not going to receive until probably Thursday or Friday, they're going to put those numbers in those bids. They're going to send them in, and if there's any discrepancies, they haven't had a chance to.
So basically, it's extending the final date.
They're basically extending the
That
deadline
makes
until
better
Monday.
sense than.
And I don't know if it's the world we're living in, but it seems like deadlines are just
Don't mean
guidelines.
anything.
Yeah, like every project,
It's horrible.
every
Unless you
project
have to
we
pay a
talked
bill.
about has not met a deadline yet,
Yeah.
It's
right?
horrible.
Yeah.
Trying to be able to, even to get contractors to come and give quotes for like the 25 budget it was pulling teeth. Trying to get people to come, and a lot of them just, well, turn you down. There's, whether there's that much work or they just don't seem to have the drive, but it is very difficult getting people to commit and hold those commitments. Even with Bayview, we had all those numbers, and now that salesperson left. And they're supposed to be coming in first week of February now, is what they've scheduled, but they have to start from scratch because the numbers are basically invalid that were given the first time.
And is this a last year's budget item?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's sorry, it wasn't it's not an actual planned project. We've been putting money in reserves for
Oh,
it.
right, okay, yeah, yeah.
I was hoping to order those diesels for Bayview this in 24. To basically prevent having to do any cost increase for 25. But now because of the person leaving, all the numbers have to be gone through again and double checked, so. And then when they're here, we're also gonna look at trying to get numbers for the other pump station, the sewage pump stations, so, but just trying to get them here.
Mhm.
It's, I was hoping to have them here in January, the earliest the new person who comes February. He's dealing with stuff at Pearson International Airport, and he's tied up for basically a month on that one project, so. It's just the way it's meant to be going. Yes, so the roof, again, it's ongoing, it's still been leaking in my office. Not really anything we can do until we get that digester sorted out. Inspections, we haven't any inspections to report this period. Wastewater infrastructure is all the remote assets are in good operational condition. No, it's just our staff. And we did find out, there was an incident at the pump station at Venetian, Delaware. I got the call today, actually, we found, it was Cogeco, the contractor for Cogeco that was doing that work. They had backed a trailer in there, like a railing off into the bolts. They're having that fixed, so. I guess-
Cogeco's fixing it?
Pardon?
Cogeco's fixing it?
The contractor,
Okay.
Cogeco's contractor's having it fixed. I guess the reason we never got notified is when it happened, the workers went into CBSA
Oh,
thinking that it was
Oh, okay.
theirs. They went in, told the people at the desk at CBSA that this is what happened. And I guess it just was
Oh,
left at
God.
that, so
Yeah.
they thought the proper people had been notified, they did it.
they were waiting for probably a call or,
They scheduled having it fixed, and just once we found out that it had happened, and I did some calls and found Cogeco knew nothing about it, so they had to get one of the contractors. They figured out, yes, this happened. They reported to CBSA, and we figured it all out. So it is going to be fixed, but
when CBSA found out there's no duty on it, they just didn't care.
It's just, yeah, you can pass it on.
Drinking water infrastructure, so all our assets are currently in good operational condition. And there's the work's being completed and tracked in mesh. St. Clair Street, we'll continue working with the engineer and contractor as anything comes up through the winter months and into the spring. Myself, the CAO and Public Works Manager, will need to be setting up a meeting in the near future to discuss infrastructure projects for 2025, and we want to do at least a 5-year plan in place and start having that 5-year, or maybe even go a little further out to actually start funding and planning for future projects. Make sure that if there's road work being done, the infrastructure underneath is being looked at too at the same time. And then once we kind of have that list, we'll have to work there with Jane as well to do that planning. And I know with the changes we made with the budget process, the 5-year forecast is in those documents, so we have it set up. We just didn't have the information now. We had the water main break on Louisa, just north of Michigan, which was all repaired. Obviously, in the spring, the stump in the boulevard is gonna be removed, and then the final road will be properly, the great house cold patch to do a full repair in the spring.
So I did get a little bit of feedback on that we didn't drop notices that the water was being turned off that day, or go door to door with the affected houses. Is that not our practice
On,
on Louisa?
everyone should have been notified.
Oh, like by a door knock or something in the,
Yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah, I know the house is right there. We're notified. We did have the same, when we had the last, when we actually took had to shut the water off on St. Clair. We went door to door.
mhm,
Some of the people weren't home.
Right.
We went door to door, and there was a number of complaints. But it was because nobody answered the door at the time.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah, if you're not
if they're
home.
if they're not home,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did say to one person,
Um,
like, they're about 3 doors away from where you were doing all the digging, and I said, like, did you not think that that would be an outcome potentially, but,
There is an like we've talked about it in the past about getting the door knockers. So we can actually hang, if we go and nobody answers, we can hang it on the doorknob. That was 2 years ago, I think we got prices for that.
I would say at least. Yeah.
Like a tag?
Yeah, it was basically like a little envelope that you hang
Okay.
off the door and then you put a notice in it.
Oh, okay.
I
Then you
can't
have to
remember the
read it.
exact cost, but at the time it never got approved. It was actually fairly expensive to get things made up and they do it, so it's something we can look
Yeah.
at again, but
it was just one person, and
But we should, I mean, it wouldn't be difficult to, if, just give Jesse or Jen a call and can you give me a notice that we expect the water to be shut off, print off 10 notices and then have them to stick in people's door if they're not home.
the only problem
mean-
is sticking them in the door and start shoving them in seals that blow away, or people open the door and they fly away. If they still don't see them,
if you put them in the mailbox, they're not gonna see it till
yeah,
the mail comes, and yeah.
and I know.
Because I noticed we put out a constant contact when the road was closed, when the tree had its issues.
Yeah.
But there was nothing that went out in constant contact that the wet water would be off intermittently that day, so.
And the only problem with putting out, to say it's gonna be out, it's hard, people want exact times then.
Yeah,
And if you say we're gonna have the water off from, 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, if you don't have it back on at 3, then.
Yeah.
So you almost have to, some of the municipalities do, gonna be off, basically plan for the water to be off for the day.
yeah, or you say intermittently between 8 and 4 type of thing, right? Like,
We can do that,
yeah,
and we can add that on, so we can get it put on Facebook or the social media sites, so they get that.
the only problem with doing that way is you're telling everybody in the village, the water might be out when it's only 8 homes possibly,
Yeah.
right? So that's only drag theirs.
It's overkill, but it might be the only way to get at some people.
Well, especially if an elderly person
Yeah,
phones their daughter or something, says, why is my water off? And they say, well, I saw something on Facebook that it's gonna be on and off today, right? So it's only fair. And I know it was over the holidays and it was cold out and all you want to do is get it repaired, but it was just a couple people that commented, so.
Yeah, we can, like I said, we can do it, we can try different options, I'll get some prices on door knockers again.
And if the pouch solution was too much money, like you might be able to get just hanging cards printed when you use a Sharpie and just and you have check boxes, right? We'll be off intermittently between, and you just write or today, intermittently today, right? And then that's all you write on it. It's sort of generic. Might be helpful.
I'll reach out to Riverside and see if they have any other options.
Or what other municipalities do. They may have printed for someone else too, right? So,
And you can only do so much.
yes.
right.
I mean,
It can't be perfect because
Yeah.
it's,
you might put it on one door and they
Yeah.
use the back door,
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's, we've done it before, like St. Clair, there's a few places that have side doors. We'll knock on both.
Mhm.
and it's,
They made it on social media in St. Clair that people were notified. And there's lots of people posting on social media. Well, they came, they were.
give
door
me
to
my
door.
door, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we try to do our best. Sometimes we do miss people, so. Inspections, audits and reports, so there's no inspections or audits for the previous months. Stormwater infrastructure, as I talked about earlier, I'm still working with Tormont Cat for the Bayview diesel replacements. And then I'm also gonna be looking at dealing with them for quoting there's a couple of generators to get quotes on. I'm also gonna try to get a couple companies that didn't want to quote on these diesels to come in and at least look at the generators, because they will quote generators, they just won't do the repower on the pumps. Catch basin repair list, any new items will continue to be added for completion. There was a manhole on Front Street that we had to do an emergency repair on, so it is a temporary repair, so far it's held up. Because the county doesn't want us doing any major excavation and removal of asphalt, we may have to come back in the spring and do a little bit larger repair in the area, but it was, we put it a little bit low, so the plows don't catch on it because of the ground. My department and Public Works have been asked to keep an eye on it, just to make sure it doesn't continue to settle, or if there's any issues that the plows might catch it, so we can get it and fix up some full patch so it doesn't damage any equipment. Storm sewer repairs required on Michigan Ave. Been contacting Dobbin Engineering. They're continuing to do the work on the storm sewer repair and the road work and curb work that was planned as well. So they are continue to work on that. And the plan is to get that started as soon as the weather allows in the spring.
So are they close to being ready to go to tender, do you know, Jay?
He never told me a date to go to tender, but they are working on it. And he's still got some time. Still a few months out before we can say big enough.
Well, but we're not really, I mean,
It's
we could be by April 1st. And
Yeah,
by the time we go to tender and everything, like I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
they're working on it.
Okay.
I don't want to rush them on it. Like, there's still a few months before we can break ground. Like, we have to dig sidewalks, we have to dig. Like, we can't go in there too early, or we're gonna, if we end up cold weather, we won't be able to place sidewalks back in.
But we want to be at the top of the contractor's list
Yeah.
schedule, like, you don't want to leave it too late, and then they say, okay, we can do it in July, right, which would be.
No, and they understand that. They know it's a priority to have, as soon as weather breaks, that they can get in there. I can't give you a date, but they do know it's a priority to have it started. Because they know we wanted to try to do it in the fall. And then just with the additional road work and some changes that were made, it helped things up, so. But it is, they do know it's a priority to get at it first thing.
The only reason I'm cautious is that we just talked about all the deadlines and like, so just
Yeah.
making sure that this one doesn't turn into a July project, right? So
Yeah.
that they know that it has to be done.
Just working on capital budgets for the stormwater system. It's ongoing, so we'll have that ready. In the next few weeks to start working with Jane on that. It's fairly insignificant compared to the water and wastewater budget, so. That one isn't too much to get done. Vehicles and equipment. All the vehicles and equipment are in good, safe working condition. That being said, I did have went start the truck today and it wouldn't start. Give me a battery. Didn't like the cold weather, so.
Yeah. Who does?
Health and safety, just, there's no new items to discuss. It was just all the remaining issues that we were dealing with. Federal Bridge Corporation, they have taken down all their temporary fencing from the construction, the bridge construction. They did come in, they cleaned up the property. They never did get the grass. They were supposed to cut the grass and stuff where the fencing was, and never got that done. But we'll get it cleaned up in the spring. Sure, all it's tightened up and back to the way it should have been. They did pick up all the debris out of it. They just didn't get it cut, so. Security, we haven't had any security concerns. And then capital budget, we already talked about the capacity study, that we try to get that done before their target date. any of the 2024 capital budget items that weren't completed, but then carried over in the 2025's budget. And the operating and capital budget has been completed and reviewed by the Environmental Services Committee and the CO and treasurer, and it'll be presented tonight. And we don't have any community feedback, upcoming events, or closing comments.
Thank you. Any questions, Mayor Hand?
I don't have any questions. I think we
Okay.
kind of asked some along the way.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
We didn't,
Yeah.
we didn't wait till the end.
Yeah, that's all I have. I answered mine as the question, asked mine as we went, so we're all good there. So we'll receive and file your report, and thanks for lots of information. And yeah, I just hope we can get after all these third-party vendors, and because especially with the Michigan Ave project, it's like it's been a while, right? So for that down by Albert's there, so. Okay, so the next item under new business is the discussion on the budget that'll be deliberated at council meeting tonight at 5. So if anybody's watching now, the wastewater budget will be debated and presented at 5 o'clock tonight here in the chambers. Is there anything in particular you want to discuss?
I don't think so, just, there's a bunch of documents that we've circulated and some new information that we haven't circulated in past years, but, I think, unless there's something specific that you felt we needed to address, or that anyone felt we needed to address, I think we're set for tonight, and
Yeah, and I feel like we're in good shape with this budget being presented. I think we've introduced a number of new documents, new tracking, new data points to help support how staff got to where they're at. So I think that's good. Anytime you have that extra information, it really makes it easier to approve and discuss. So I think hats off to the three of you, including Jane here, for just the ways presented. So it's good.
Jane will be here at the council meeting, and she's prepared a PowerPoint to go through to kind of walk council through the information, and then questions after that. So it should be, I think her presentation will probably answer a lot of questions
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I did when we did the preliminary review, so it's good. So
Even the write-up, I mean, I would say it's more lengthy write-up than we might have seen in the past. But it's because it's explaining concept and the new way of presentation and the new way of addressing it. So like there was like 2 pages of we wouldn't have had 2 pages full of information. I don't remember that last year previously. So we're trying to explain all of the reasons for the action.
do you have any budget comments?
I know she forwarded the PowerPoint for tonight. I went through it. We're gonna meet with her after. Any comments between the two of us, or if there's any little tweaks that we want to make? I think if Jim gets a chance, there's a couple things we want to run past him, but no, I think it's gonna streamline the process a fair bit.
Okay, sounds good. So well, there's nothing to receive and file, so
Not
we'll just
really.
say we discussed it and it is what it is. We'll do the financial statements, which I'm assuming are,
They're up to, it's the information we have up till December 31st. There's still lots of invoices to be inputted and come in. We won't have final stuff for still quite a while. One thing that Jane and I discussed, how we used to circulate the summary, which is in here, but we also circulated detailed information about specific payments to vendors and stuff. We're not going to circulate that information anymore because we just felt that it was a little bit too personal or private of information. That information will still be available if counselors have specific questions about an account, we can get that information.
Yep.
But we're not going to circulate it for public consumption at this
yeah, that makes
going
sense to me.
forward.
Yep. Okay, so we'll receive and file financial statements as well. Any other new business, Mayor Hand, from Environmental Services?
No, just what's coming tonight.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Our next meeting will be held on Tuesday, February the 11th, 2025 at 1 p.m. I will be a year older then. So, motion to adjourn?
Oh, just
Oh.
one comment, sorry, before we adjourn. And on the other committees, we reminded everyone next meeting will be discussion of capital, but since, I mean, the good portion of water is tonight, except for your storm sewers. So
The next committee meeting?
the
Siobhan?
next committee
Yeah,
meeting,
okay,
sorry,
yeah,
on
yeah.
the 11th, I
Yeah.
think, of February. Each committee will be prepared to talk about their.
We're hoping.
Hoping.
Yeah.
We asked them to be, how's that?
Yes,
Be prepared. And you already will be,
Yeah.
of course you will be.
Yeah. Always first.
Yeah, leader of the pack.
Yeah.